Hey, next month we have two older powerhouse female writer directors, Michelle Muldoon and Laura Black.
I can't right now, babe.
No, I just have a question. Hey, can you put it in front of you so I can move? Otherwise, you're gonna see all my movement. Thank you. I'm not gonna be like this. Hey, I'm gonna be like, you're gonna see everything.
All right, I'm waiting.
We're live.
I haven't gotten the notification yet.
52 seconds. Damn power outage.
Let me refresh and see if that does it. No. Oh. All right, man. Let me see if it's over in
Stormcrow?
Yeah, I'm moving over to that page. Yeah, hold on. Oh, it's live. Yeah, it is live. Hey, you guys, sorry, I didn't even know we were live and you're just watching me babble and all that kind of stuff. So hold on a second, guys. We're running a little late. And I need to create the watch party. Wait, it's not giving me the ability to create a why. Why do they constantly need to change crap, dude?
They gotta update their UI every month.
Yeah, but they change stuff, dude. It's not necessary. Now I can't find, all it's letting me option is to share it to a page. No watch party option.
I would just share it on your page and then share it and then tag them in it.
Yeah, but it's not my personal page is not considered a page, dude. Those are
I know. Just share it on your personal page.
Bro, it's not it doesn't give me that option, man. When it says share to a page, it gives me all my groups, all my like. Hold on, sorry guys. We literally it's. And when I try to just share the URL, man, all it does is share to. It just shared the page, man. Oh my god, dude. Ugh.
Technology.
Sorry, you guys. For some reason, Facebook feels like it needs to constantly change stuff. Don't ask me why. I don't understand it.
Why, JD?
No, I don't get why it feels like it needs to do that. I am a big believer in it. If shit ain't broke, then don't fix it.
Okay, well, where? Okay, what the hell?
So it's not giving me any options to share to a page. But it doesn't have my page on it. It just has all my like Stormcrow Productions, Blade and Blood.
That's why. Okay, so they changed it on my end too. They felt the need to change it on my end.
I just don't understand why they changed stuff that was working perfectly fine the way it was. It's like to give them the excuse to have their job.
Yeah.
Smart.
Oh my lordy, man. Nope. That wasn't my page. I saw one that said JD Glasscock, but that wasn't it. Oh my God. Holy cow, man. Sorry, people, that you're watching us go through this, but for some reason, without any notice, Facebook decides to always change how things work or don't work. And oh my God, dude. Literally.
I wouldn't really worry too much about it, though.
Dude, I've always done it as a watch party on my page, man. Like, not everyone's on Stormcrow Dreamers Talking to Dreamers.
And won't let you share to your page?
No.
That's weird. Let me see what I can do.
Oh my God, dude, it made me change. I finally figured it out, dude. It had me on Stormcrow Dreamers Talking to Dreamers as Stormcrow Dreamers Talking to Dreamers, so I had to change. Oh, hold on. I had to change on the very little button to the right. There's a button to change so that it's me on it instead of Stormcrow Dreamers Talking to Dreamers on it. And then they gave me the option to do a watch party.
That's brilliant.
Oh my God, that's just ridiculously complicated, man. All right. Sorry, guys. I finally figured out all Facebook's new changes and wow. All right.
That's
all right.
Brilliant.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's bring in our guest, guys. Holy cow. Oh, there you go. It's on the page. Watch party going. All right. Woo! I feel so accomplished, man. I figured out the maze that is Facebook. So anyway, you guys, let's get right into it. I apologize for the delay. You're watching episode 36. Stormcrow Dreamers Talking to Dreamers. You got me, JD Glasscock, obviously my co-host and lightsaber savant, now floating above a planet, Mark Potter, and then, of course, Lola. And then we have two amazing guests tonight. Who do you want to bring in first, buddy?
Katrina Gray.
All right. Amazing and absolutely stunningly beautiful actress, model, and a good, beautiful spirit, Katrina Gray. Let's bring her in. Katrina, sorry. Oh, my lordy.
Hi.
Let's bring in Frankie real quick, and then I'll let you know. For some reason, as Facebook always does, they decided to change how everything works without letting anybody know. So literally, I wasn't able to, the way it worked our last show on how to make a watch party was all taken away. So it took me that long to figure out how they changed it and what they changed. You guys, Frankie Ray, amazing stuntman, actor, aficionado of jack of all trades of many things. And there you go. So, yeah, okay. So, sorry, guys. It took me a minute because Facebook, again, does what it always does and changed how everything works without letting anyone really know how they changed how everything works. So normally when we started the show, I could just go over to Stormcrow Dreamers Talking to Dreamers and click on a button and it give me the option to start a watch party over on my page. But now all of a sudden all those options were gone. They weren't there. And I was like, what the heck, dude? And so it took me forever to figure out there was a tiny little button to the right of the video. And it had me acting like I was Stormcrow Dreamers Talking to Dreamers while I'm on there. And you had to click this little button and then turn it back to me, my page, accessing that video to be able to share a watch party. I'm like going, oh my lordy, dude. Like, holy heck, dude. Anyway, okay.
Job security.
Yeah. It's some guy going, dude, if I don't figure out stuff to do, they're going to get rid of me, man. So I'm going to go change this stuff so that I deserve a paycheck. Anyway, awesome. Let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, you guys, this is now a watch party on my page. If you want to share it to your page or anything you want to do, you can do that over on my page. Just make sure that the volume is off so that we're not hearing ourselves echo as it's playing. And then you can tag it with people, whoever you want. Anyway, let's get right into it, though. I'm going to start off on past projects, and we'll start with Frankie and then go to Katrina. Frankie, what is a project you've done in the last couple of years that you thought came out amazing and you're really proud of it?
Wow. I flew up to, I'd worked in St. Louis on a couple of films, and I got a call to fly up to Sacramento area to do 2 music videos. And they were, I don't know why the name of the music video is escaping me. I shouldn't have taken that bong hit before the fucking show. Sorry. I said fuck. I didn't take a bong hit. I'm teasing.
I wouldn't really care, man.
One of them was called Trace the Lines. Gosh, you'd think I'd know. Anyway, they were just, I had worked with the director before, and he knew what I do. And I get up there and he plays the song for me. And I asked him, well, what do you want me to do? And he says, do what you do. And I said, okay, well, that's a lot of license for a method actor. And he said, Frankie, just do what you do. So it turned out to be a very emotional, intense journey into a lot of things that we didn't expect. Is
this more dance you're referencing, like a dance improv acting?
No, this is all, the majority of it was improv, but it was more acting within the constraints of this music video called Trace the Lines. And your viewers can just Google it. It's pretty much everywhere. But
I'll post up something.
It was intense. And there was 2 videos that were shot back to back along the same theme. And what was so fulfilling for me as an actor is rarely do we, work in a area where a director will just say, do what you do within the constraints of this story.
Well, because usually it's an unmitigated disaster when you do that, but yes.
99% of the time, having worked with the director before and him having seen me do 4.5 hours of improv, of insanity in a scene within this film, he knew that I can go anywhere and stay within the constraints of the storyline. Of course, there were things he's saying, you know what, try this, try that. But it was just a very fulfilling project. The band ended up breaking up. It never really did go anywhere. But for an artist, it was very fulfilling. I thoroughly enjoyed doing Miley Cyrus's music video.
She shut down her Facebook, didn't she?
Well, no, she just went private.
Gotcha.
She's still
I know. I remember you touting, and I was on her page for a while, and I remember you guys having those conversations about.
Yeah, she just went over under a different name. But
she created a different profile.
Yes, sir. It was the music video Younger Now, and then we did a live performance at the VMAs. And I enjoyed that a lot. I was able to work with probably the last 40 years, the best dancers that did Grease, that did Flash Dance, that did every major music video or Broadway production. These were the dancers that did them, Fame, everything. And they're all now older and retired like myself as dancers. But it was just incredible to be there with the artist who had shaped the entire dance movement over the last 30 years. And that was extremely pleasurable.
I can imagine, man, especially when you're working with, and it doesn't matter whether they're famous or they're not famous, when you're working with really veteran, skilled people on a project, it's a wonderful feeling because everything just kind of flows. There's It's not so much that flubs and and there's a lot of respect going on. So I can imagine how that probably felt. And because I know you do kind of it all, man. You act, you dance, you do stunts, you do a lot of different things, and you've been kind of a character in Hollywood for a long time, and that's your main shtick, right? Character acting.
Mainly to my disappointment, yes, I just was given an opportunity to do a film next month that actually lets me play.
Wait! Hold on to that. We're going to get into the future in a minute, but I'm going to go over to Katrina right now. Katrina, what is a project you've done in the last couple years that you thought was successful and you're proud of, and you thought it was amazing?
Well, I got very lucky to work on a few good projects. 2019 was really busy, and 2020 was where I was supposed to be everything out, right? But now everything keeps postponing. But yeah, I did. I produced Daytime Nightmare feature film and directed it and starred in it.
Was that in Dell's Festival, AOF?
No, I just completed it. So now I send it to film festivals, and yeah.
Sorry, wait, you
fresh.
You directed it?
Yes, I directed it.
And you acted in it?
Yes.
Was it a lead role or a supporting role?
Yes.
Or
Lead role.
That's difficult, man. You probably had a really good DP, because that's difficult to
definitely
try to be a director and be the lead. I mean, that means you literally need someone that kind of steps in as director while you're in front of the camera.
DP was Jan Frame, and he's really awesome. Yeah, and also camera B was Liam Anderson. So they're a great team, and awesome people worked on the movie, so that's why it turned out so well. And yeah, and then also I worked on the Serpent series that is for Netflix and BBC One, which is supposed to come out this year, but I'm not sure what's the release date because of the
And
situation.
what was your you had a role in that?
Yes, yeah.
What's the I mean, the title kind of gives a premise, but what's the premise of the story?
The Serpent is not sure if you remember, but it's the story of it's a true story about the serial killer who was killing people in
No, I don't remember a serial killer.
The world. Yeah, it's from the story from the 70s, and the whole story basically.
It was in Europe, though.
Is it if it's what?
The serial killer was in Europe?
Yeah, he was. I can't remember. I think he was born in Vietnam, but then he was killing people in Thailand, India, France.
That's probably why we don't hear about it. Us Americans just pay attention to our American serial killers.
There are other serial killers around the world as well.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's probably why. I mean, like we had our, what was that? The Nightmare. What is that guy's name? The Night Stalker.
We got Michael Myers. Oh no, that's made up though.
That's a film, dude.
BTK, the Zodiac Killer. See, Ed Gein. Leatherface.
But she's right. I am sure there is a plethora in all sorts of countries. There's serial killers. It's just Americans tend to be so egotistical that we don't think any of that stuff happens anywhere but here, because you wouldn't normally see that kind of stuff on the American news. Like I don't remember ever in my life hearing about a serial killer outside of the U.S.
Hitler, Stalin.
But I'm sure that I'm sure they exist and did happen. So, but it sounds like an interesting story. Are you one of the leads in that, or?
No, I'm not a lead, but it's awesome miniseries. You should check it out once it comes out.
Well, I do have Netflix. And the only thing recently I've watched on that is like Warrior Nuns. So really,
how's it?
I'm almost to the point where if nothing better comes on that soon, I'm gonna get rid of that subscription. Well, no, they did have Old Guard. I watched that. I like Charlize Theron. So
check out Alter Carbon.
No, I tried to watch that. I got through like half an episode and I was bored to death, dude. I can't do the character study. This is where I've always had an issue. I've had a lot of respect for British TV and film because they care more about acting ability than they do about looks.
For sure.
You know,
yeah.
and so I've always respected them for that. But their stories they're so in love with character studies in everything, like very little action, usually very slow paced. And it's usually just all about character studies. A lot of people talky. And so I've always struggled trying to watch series of theirs. Have you guys ever experienced that where certain styles, because most countries have a style of film that they're kind of known for, you know what I mean? And that certain countries' style of film you really into, and then other ones you're kind of not into. And it doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just more of a stylistic thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not. I like American movies, you know, more than British, I would say.
Well, American movies tend to be a little more myriad, like, you know what I mean? Like they tend to be, there's a bunch of different styles in America because you have directors from all over the world come here and make movies. But when you're like the French kind of very artistic, creative tapestry of colors and tapestry of sets, they tend to do a lot of that kind of stuff. The cinematography tends to be really good in French films. English films tend to be like acting, a lot of like focus on really good acting and a lot of dialogue. You know what I mean? Like, and kind of a slower pace to not all, but most of their stuff. You know, you have exceptions like a Shotgun and Two Smoking Barrels, but you know.
Yeah. The British movies kind of grow on you. So, you know, you get used to them. And once you understand, like, I think it's... No,
I mean, it's usually always good writing and good acting. I tend to watch films like I write films. So I personally, I'm very ADHD. I need like kinetic movement and action and energy going on. If it's too static, I start losing the ability to focus. And I'm waiting for you to chime in here, Frankie.
Oh, I thought we were talking with her.
No, but like that, I threw that to both of you guys. Is there a particular film style from countries you like, and then ones that maybe you don't like as much? And again, that doesn't mean they're bad. It just means it's more of a stylistic thing.
Most definitely. Probably shoots myself in the foot from working with you, but I prefer the European style. I'm one that's not really a big fan of a lot of dialogue. I prefer the moments between words where, for me, the life lives. I don't really like action movies. I mean, I enjoy them. I watch them. But my life is very action-filled. I do a lot of things, climb cliffs, scuba dive, surf, kayak. So I'm an action-oriented person. In films, I like the story. I like to be taken away. I like to be baited into a long, drawn-out process and be immersed in someone's life.
So you love Tolstoy and Hemingway.
I just prefer things, movies that have a little bit of both. I just really enjoy the stories. The dialogue gets a little repetitive for me. I don't like a lot of dialogue. But I like the silence, the moments between dialogue in films with most modern contemporary directors.
Did you like Sergio Leone?
Very much so.
Because he's very much into those non-speaking moments, captures of facial expressions and emotion. He's one of my heroes. And he's one of Tarantino's heroes. Because his framing is probably one of the most insane things he does. It's the detail of the stuff behind actors and all that kind of stuff.
You know, you mentioned that you have ADHD, and it feels like the American society as a whole now, the attention span is so slow that film and television has to tell us everything, and as opposed to letting us be there and watch it and come to those conclusions ourselves. I don't like to be told how to feel. I like the story to let me come to it and bring my emotions.
Exposition. They do too much exposition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, because I think you also, because you also have, especially studio films, you have a bunch of accountants on the top that think everybody's stupid, and you need to like explain everything.
And lawyers.
Yeah. So, you know, but that's what you get when you have accountants making creative decisions, man.
Well, sure. It used to be producers came from the arts, and now they come from law schools, the majority of them. So it's you know, it is what it is. As our job as actors is to walk up and give the director what he wants, and he's looking for within the constraints of the story. And hopefully we get an opportunity to do a little bit of art within the constraints.
This is why I would rather always stay in that smaller 20 mil or under budget, because you can kind of do those kind of budgets with smaller studios. They give you more freedom to, as a writer and director, to more control over the creativity.
My favorite area is the $10 million range. You get above that and it gets crazy. You get below it, you can't throw money at problems. It seems like $10 million budgets.
I don't know. I mean, my first one's going to be like a $1 million budget. The first one we're doing Blatant Blood, but I wrote it for that budget. You know what I mean? So
sure. You know, I've seen some amazing films on $500,000 to $1 million budget. It just depends on who's heading things and who they bring to the table, and the skill sets of those people.
Well, and I learned in a lot, and people taught me this lesson after I wrote about 3 scripts, and I try to teach it to young people. When you are writing a script, you have to keep budget in mind when you're writing.
Sure.
And a lot of young writers don't do that. They write all this crap without any thought to budget. And believe me, I did it. My first couple scripts, like now those scripts are at the tail end of what I'm going to do on this 5-film run, because those require like 20 million. You know what I mean?
Sure.
25 million. But as you get more experience, then you start understanding that, hey, if I have a car exploding in there, that costs a lot of money.
Sure. And especially
so, like, think of those things, you know what I mean, as you're writing. And
sure. Especially in today's climate, people want to see a lot of action. They're really not interested in story and those kinds of things. They want to be entertained, and that costs money.
It does. And well, what I've always said is imagination costs money.
Sure.
You know, the cheapest things to write are talkie talks, where people just sit in a, you know, character drama, sit in different rooms and do a lot of emotional acting and talking and dialogue. Those are, you know what I mean? Like, though, you know, unless they're wearing insane costumes, those aren't very, you know, expensive unless you have like a huge name actor, and then the salary of that actor would be. But from a production standpoint, it's pretty cheap. But yeah, as soon as you start doing things that require special effects and crap blowing up and stunts and actions and all those kind of things, like your budget starts going up very quickly.
Sure. You know, it's funny. A lot of those kinds of films come across my desk and I turn them down, and directors always ask me, well, why don't you want to do this film? And I'll say, well, there's really nothing in it for me. There's no money, and there's nothing that I haven't already done 10, 15 times before. So there's no reason for me to go down in this dark hole if there's no art or I'm not being compensated for it. I'm just masturbating my emotions, and the odds on it turning into a quality project are very slim. So I don't want to do another vampire if there's nothing there but him biting fucking necks.
Well, you should always get paid, man. And did you see how amped and interested Mark got when you said masturbating your emotions? His mind was like,
all I can see is you. All I see is you.
He doesn't have gallery view on.
You should put on the square or some other. There's an option that does a
top right.
All 4 of us.
Left.
Top left.
But literally, like his eyes like got twice as big, and he started focusing.
It's like a resonation with like or resonating. You know, like I agree.
No, yeah, he was like, I just did that last night with my lightsaber, man. I emotionally masturbated like hard.
You know, it's funny. You know, it's funny. My background, I come from ballroom dancing. I taught for 30 years professionally. And in ballroom dancing, you pay attention to subtleties. Small movements and shifts of the body are huge when you're doing something as intimate as blending two balances together. So for me in film, it's most frustrating when directors push you up into the visual spectrum of anger. I'm angry, as opposed to the internal being angry and letting the camera feel it. It's very frustrating to just masturbate the emotions for the camera because the audience doesn't want to go in and feel it. You have to push it out to them as if you were on stage.
I don't know. I agree with you that a lot of people do that, but I think there should always be depth. I think anything you do with all that you are, or you don't do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So and I believe that you can actually write an action that also has great character development and great depth.
Look at Tarantino stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and he's one of my heroes. Him and Del Toro, Rodriguez. Some old Lynch. I used to love David Lynch when I was younger. Anyway, but I'm gonna go to Katrina. We're gonna start with Katrina on this next part. Katrina, what is a current project? I know with COVID, that's kind of hard. I'm right there with you. All my shit's being pushed back. So what is a current thing you're focused on that you're very excited about? And then we'll go to Frank.
So currently, I kind of transitioned towards the producing and directing my own scripts. So
Very cool.
I have one project called Realm. It's a action horror, and
It is called Rome?
Realm.
Realm. Oh, Realm. Like REALM.
Yes.
Yeah, a realm.
And,
okay, cool. That sounds almost fantastical, like supernatural fantastical. Is that what it is?
Yeah, kind of, a little bit, yeah.
Because I mean, the image of a realm means that you're talking another realm other than the one we're in. I mean, that's kind of the image I
Astral
get.
realm.
Yeah. So
Another
yeah, it's
dimension,
kind of
another
like
realm.
that, yeah. And Hostel Paradise. That's like thriller horror, so similar to a hostel. And yeah, so currently working on
Please just
producing
have more
that.
story than Hostel. Hostel seemed like an excuse to just show a bunch of torture.
Yeah, so this one is like a psychological thriller on island, basically.
What's your ethnicity?
I'm from Slovakia.
Because I mean that the way you just said thriller. I was like,
My
I can hear her accent.
You mean what is my ethnicity? Like.
Well, yeah, because that would probably tell me your accent, where your accent's from.
Okay. Otherwise, I'm Caucasian. But
Nationality.
Nationality, yes.
I'm a white girl.
I'm from Slovak Republic. It's in the middle of Europe.
But by Yugoslavia and all that?
Yugoslavia?
No, near that area.
Czechoslovakia?
Well, yes. It used to be former Czechoslovakia, but we split like 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
And, wait, okay, that was around the same time that Yugoslavia and all them split, didn't it? Wasn't it?
Around which time?
Serbia, and Croatia, and
the Yugoslavia split, I think 96, I think so. But it was after the fall of Soviet Union. That's when we split. So 89 and then split 91.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
And
very
then the
cool.
whole,
yeah. I'm just American mutt, so I don't really have a cool accent to like throw at you. I do have my last name Glasscock though, so that's my most interesting figure, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to Texas, but I think it's awesome. You know, must be awesome there.
I've lived in a lot of states, and I think Frankie has too, and I've lived probably in like 8 states. I like the weather better here than in LA. LA almost never rains, and I like rain. I spent 8 years in LA before moving here 4 years ago, and literally it would drizzle like a few times a year in California when I was there. I think it rained a couple times hard in like 1 year or something like that, but usually it was literally like drizzle like 2 or 3 times a year. Where in Texas, you have summer rainstorms, you have spring rainstorms, you have winter rainstorms, you have
Summer
autumn
hailstorms.
rainstorms. So I actually like that. And I lived a decade in Seattle where there was like too much rain. It was literally like 10 months a year of rain, man. So literally that's a little much. Have you ever lived in Washington? Frankie?
Me?
No, Frankie.
Actually,
You ever
yeah.
lived in Washington?
Actually, I
Or Oregon is the same kind of weather, but
yeah, actually, I joined the Army out of Bend, Oregon in '79. And then when I got out of the military, when I got out of the military in '81 at Fort Lewis, I lived in Salem, Portland. I pretty much lived all over the West Coast.
yeah, I lived in Oregon and Washington, but yeah, like the rain is a little too much there for me. I mean, you get beautiful green everywhere because of it. So there's like lush green everywhere because it rains like 10 months a year.
Yeah, they don't
that's
tend.
pretty.
They rust up there.
Yeah,
No
but literally, you're getting rained on like 9-10 months a year. It gets a little much. What about your home country? What's the weather like, Katrina?
Well, it's well, we have it all. I mean, it's in the middle of Europe, so it's we have like as usually 4 seasons and
I've
very
never been
cold
to Europe.
winters.
Sorry, I wouldn't really know.
Okay, so 4 seasons, very cold winters up to -20, and the summers are very hot, proper like 3-4 months almost, and it's like 35 up to 35. Yeah, I would say 30
You're
to
talking about
35.
Celsius, right?
Yes, Celsius.
Yes. Yeah, I can't.
I know you do Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, I don't know
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
I can't.
I don't know the Fahrenheit. So
What is that? 65, maybe 70? I think. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I always use a Google
Yeah.
Translator to check out the.
So your main
The
goal
mar-
right now currently is to focus on writing, directing, right, Katrina?
Yes. So
Well, if I can ever help, let me know. I have been noted to doodle writing every once in a while, man. But I would love to read some of your stuff if you ever wanted to share.
Thank you.
Yeah. So but that's very, very cool. And especially you can knock off the whole thing of like, I'm not just hot, I'm also brilliant and creative.
Well, I have a kind of like economic degree, so I did like my whole everything production myself, so that really helped. And then I was kind of not tired, but I didn't want to wait for the opportunity to come, and I decided that I will just go down the road.
No, you have to go make it. You have to go make it.
Yeah, so I decided instead, like I do audition for projects. I do work on other people's projects, of course.
Yeah, but that only adds to your resume when they look and see that you've written and directed your own stuff. I mean, that only adds to the appeal. I mean, from a filmmaking standpoint, if I'm looking at an actor that has acting resume, but then I look that they also are a writer and director, it makes me a little more confident in who they are and what they can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So kind of Daytime Nightmare is my like first feature film I produced. And so it kind of reflects everything what I can do from writing, acting, everything. But of course, I had a great team that worked with me on this project. So we can check it out on IMDb, on Facebook. And so they're all tagged in. And also my partner.
Wait, did you say it's released now, right?
It's not released. I just completed the post-production now.
And you're sending it to festivals before you figure out what you're trying
to do.
Yes.
And
I said, tell Weston, if you don't know him, I will friend suggest him to you. He runs about 20 different festivals, all in Vegas.
Okay.
So, and some of them are huge, but he's also a huge supporter of artists. So like if he likes your stuff, he'll try to help you out. He'll hook you up with distribution or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, so and he would love you. I can tell he would love you. But back to what we were talking about. See, when I get like a resume from like Frankie, I have to like I see he has all this resume, but then I get bamboozled because he has it connected to like a photo of him in a dress, and I'm like, Frankie, what are you doing, man? You're killing me, bro. Like, why are you sending me a photo with you in a dress, dude?
I like to keep my director producers off balance. You know, it's funny.
Because I know Frankie's humor, and he does stuff to shock people like all the freaking time.
Being a dancer, musician, actor, stunt person, like you guys were talking about, I'm getting ready to produce a project that I've written, but being a control freak, for me it's very difficult to direct and act at the same time and produce because I get tunnel visioned.
Yeah, I can't do it. I haven't liked it any time I've had to act in my own stuff. I won't do it anymore. I miss too many frames, lighting, bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, for me, the art of acting is so removed from the art of directing. Directing's an overview thing, where acting is a moment view within the constraints of an entire project. But being a musician and a dancer and someone that's into movement and martial arts and so on and so forth, I feel like it brings a lot more to a project because an artist has all of these skill sets to draw from. I don't have an ego in as much as I have no shame. I don't have a problem being in a dress. I don't have a problem with a dog humping my leg.
Oh, but stop, Frankie, with the no ego, man. No talented artist I've ever met doesn't have an ego. Now, there's a healthy ego and then there's an unhealthy ego. But there is no artist that has any skill or are really good at what they do that doesn't have a good amount of ego, man. That's because that's part of what drives you to get you shooting a film, writing a film, getting money for a film, doing all those things. There's a certain, I don't know how you want to say it, a certain,
or
it's in between cockiness and confidence. So it's a little more than confidence and a little less than cockiness.
Right.
I don't know if there's a word that would encapsulate that I'm trying to get to. Because if you're cockiness will just irritate people. But someone that's just confident, I don't know if that's quite enough when you're trying to get money for a film and you have to have almost a swagger of in your whether it be your spirit or your verbiage or your the way you stand when you're talking to people passionately about what you're trying to pitch them or sell them or any of those things. And so you have to have a certain amount of ego to be able to do that.
Without falling on your face.
I think it's fine to have an ego. I think there's an unhealthy side of ego that is not good, but then it's good to have an ego in a sense if you're an artist because that's what drives us to accomplish things. You know what I mean?
Well, for me, confidence and competence, experience, the comfort of drawing on years of experience are two different things. For me, when someone walks in a room cocky, I immediately get a feeling that they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
And they're insecure, yes. That's why I said that's not the right word, but yeah.
You know, it's for me, the quiet person who listens and then adds their input and then does what the fuck they're told. Pardon me, I cuss a lot.
Okay.
The person that understands the difference between this is what I'd like to see, this is what the director wants, but I am a tool for the director. I will do as I'm told because they see it different than me. So
you also respect that it's their dream and vision that you're working on, and to respect that enough to try to supply that for them.
Yeah, I as an actor, I always have a hard time seeing what's on the paper and what will end up on screen. Because I've read some scripts that I went, this is really gonna suck, but the money's good, why not? And then I see it on screen and I'm like, I did not imagine that shit at all, and it blew me away. So cockiness and having an ego, You know,
Well, but those are two different things to me, man. You can have a healthy ego that is not cockiness.
yeah, I'm 58 now, and I've lived a lot of life. Most of it I won't talk about. But you know, for me, I found an ego is pointless and useless for me, and it only holds me back from expressing my truth in whatever art form that I'm participating, whether it be music or dance. My ego just gets in the way. When I have to walk into a shot with nothing but a sock on, and looking skinny with like a crackhead, there's really not a lot of room for ego in that. Ego says, bro, you know, you're like 25 pounds.
And you're like, what am I doing here?
That basically.
What am I doing here looking like a crackhead with a sock on my dick?
The music video that I alluded to earlier is by a flock of birds. It's called Trace the Lines, and it's not a pretty look, but it is very emotionally. I can't watch it or hear the song.
Yeah, but there's a certain confidence and intensity going there too. I mean, yeah. And you go there if you go there as a writer when you're writing as well. I mean, that's what a lot of people, I guess, don't understand. Usually the writers that are really good writers, it means that every character they wrote, they totally went into that character to be able to write that character. And that was the reason it was so good and had that much depth. Sure. And whether it's a 16-year-old heroin addict teenager girl that's pregnant, or it's a 90-year-old cancer patient that's dying, or a serial killer named the Serpent, if you're good at writing, it means that basically you're going into each of these characters' heads as you're writing them. So I hear what you're saying. By the way, Danny Templegod, it keeps commenting for you, Katrina, on the watch party. On the watch party on my page.
Check it out.
Yeah. But I agree with you, man. And Frankie, believe me, I see you, but you do have I got to say, you do have an ego, because literally I've seen how many times you totally mentally fuck with people on your page.
See, but that's
and I
not.
know that you're insidiously getting a giant giggle out of it by mentally butt fucking their mental scape. With putting false stuff up, putting stuff up I know you don't believe at all, just to screw with them.
But see, for me, that's not ego. That's
for you, it's probably humor, but it's still ego.
Actually, it's not. It's psychology. You can always tell who someone really is when they're angry or when they're drunk, and I'll do things to get somebody off balance so that I find out who they truly are. So
I understand, but there's some ego in that. Just give it to me, Frankie, that you have a little bit of ego, man. Stop.
You know, anymore, it's very. I'm a highly psychological person. I've studied psychology, sociology, world historic history my whole life, just to understand why I'm so fucked up in my head. And I've really gotten and I've had an ego most of my life, but I've really got that beast pretty much tamed.
And I agree with you, man. The key to talent is self-truth and self-awareness and self-depth. That is the key to art, the key to talent. The more self-truth, the less of a boundary between you and your own truth, sure, means usually the more depth you have in any kind of artistic expression. So I agree with you there.
If I may say something to this sure. Ego conversation.
Yeah.
I think older I'm getting and longer I'm staying in this industry, I must agree with Frankie. I think whatever ego I had, I think there's a miniature of it at this point, because you're right. Like, you can't have ego in any level, from audition, from even starting from your agent, applying for jobs. I mean, acting jobs, going auditions, being in auditioning room, getting a job, being on set, dealing with everyone on set.
No, and I agree. Yeah, treat
everyone's
people
opinions.
Right, that's not what I mean, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a great topic, because at least you can look at it from the actor's point of view, And then when you realize, like from the moment you get that piece of paper from audition, everything changes until the movie comes out. Like you said, like it completely changed its face when it comes to, you know, when you add on
I
the
think ego is the
and
wrong
everything.
word. What am I looking for, you guys? When I'm thinking when I say ego, what I'm thinking of is really confident individuality.
Extroverted.
Yeah.
Extroverted.
Maybe, I don't know. That's what I mean, because I think I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. So maybe ego is not the word I'm looking for. You know what I mean? I think every great artist I've ever met has this magnetic energy.
I would say, you know what I would say? Charisma.
Like quiet,
I would say
confident.
charisma.
Yeah, charisma.
I would say charisma, because like, even like, again, like when we talk about the ego, like I choose people based on their personalities, like not only working with, but also around me. Literally, it's just the personality. And then what I look in people is the transparency and how confident and trustworthy they are. These three things, because that's what I want to be. So I kind of reflect of what I want for myself, look the kind of people I look for. So if they're lacking this, I mean, most likely, you know, you kind of surround yourself with people you want to be like.
I agree with you, because I think you are who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with a bunch of shady ass people and then try to convince people that you're not shady, and so they look at all the people that you literally have like as your close personal entourage, and they're all shady, then that'll be a very hard argument to make. So, and I'm big on trying to always surround yourself with like-minded people that respect people and have honor, and you can trust when they're behind you.
Yeah, I see that Danny is commenting. So Katrina is adorable, and her nationality is great.
Yes,
Thank you, Danny. He's actually
Danny?
awesome. Danny is really awesome writer. He has his
No, I mean, I'm friends with Danny. I know who he is.
He's awesome. He's
he does reviews of films. Yes.
And
he's done one for one of my shorts. He's a great guy. I've known him for probably I think he's been on my Facebook for like a decade or something.
And he does support actors and directors.
Yeah, and he's a beautiful spirit.
Yeah. He has awesome blog. Check it out.
And he that's what he does, though, is he does reviews of films. He's a film critic.
Yeah. But also he really does support like actors. Like he tried to be there and always have a kind words to say, nothing but a kind.
He does. He has always done that for me, and from way back when, like a decade ago, when I was doing music and not even doing film yet. So, yeah, he's a good person.
If I could comment on the previous subject about surrounding yourself with people, I've had many actors ask me, how you get your jobs and so on and so forth. And I've always said that you have to fundamentally understand that these people have to be on a set with you 8 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And by the time you get to callbacks, most every actor can do the job and looks the part. They're trying to figure out who they want to spend 8 hours with. And
what sets you working on that are only 8 hours, man?
But almost every job that I book, I always go up to the director and the producer and I say, why did you choose me out of the 3,000 people that submitted and all the people that auditioned? And they always say the same thing. When you walked in, you were you, and then you flipped that switch, and what came out was nothing what we expected. It's funny, when I walk into a room full of celebrities or people with egos, as you had said, I always have to turn mine almost completely off.
I agree with you, yeah.
Because it sucks it from them, and that is not something they are even happy.
I usually stay in the corner, man, and read a book when I've been, because I used to audition when my thing is writing, but there was a point in time when I was in LA, I went on some auditions. And some of those auditions had celebrities in the audition room that were auditioning for the same role. And I always, when there's that much of that, what you're referencing, I usually then go in a corner and would sit and read my book until the audition came. But yeah, I hear you.
For me, I would rather work with a quiet, calm person than someone who's jacked up and excited to be on set. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
That's just me.
Yeah.
For once you get to a set, it's time to get to work.
Mhm.
You're already excited. You did all that thing before. When I produce and when I direct, I want people that are there and staying in their lanes and not getting in everybody else's lanes and too overexcited. I like a real calm environment so that everyone's relaxed and their art can come out.
I agree.
As
I
she said-
remember I did background in for a living for 8 years in stand-in in LA.
Really?
That's what I did to make money for 8 years in LA.
Wow,
And so literally, and you know how background is, especially on big calls, man. Like
sure.
I literally would always grab a chair and go 20 feet from the nearest group of background and sit with my book because I did not want to listen to all the just
Hollywood
bravado and crap. And
Yeah. It's funny, on set, I always hang with the background or the crew because they seem to be the most real, where
true, I agree.
actors just, can I get a lot?
Yeah, but when you're on big calls, man, literally, now some of my better friends I made in LA were other background
Sure.
stand-in actors. So there were some beautiful spirits. But when you were on bigger calls, you would literally like have just
Sure.
the guy who's said he's written 28 scripts and he's about to make it and all that stuff.
See, but I love those stories. I mean, you sit around.
Oh my lordy, I would like, I can't hear anymore, man.
Telling Hollywood lies that are endless, and it's like,
Yeah,
well,
but like from the time I moved there, man, everybody was like, fake it till you make it. That was like the mantra
yeah.
of everyone
Fake it till you
I
make
met.
it.
And it is so antithesis to everything that I am. I am like,
Right.
if you want something, work for it, earn it. You know what I mean? Like learn the skill sets. And I would hear guys go, "Oh yeah, I just submitted to a scene with like some insanely technical skill," and I'm like, "Oh, you know that? Oh no, I'll just watch a YouTube video."
It's funny. I've done 3 background roles, and the first 2 I just couldn't stand it. And then I relaxed, and I'm sitting there on this job and some stunt guy comes up and he goes, "Frankie, what are you doing on this?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm background." And he's like, "You're an actor. You don't do background." And I was like, you know what? I wasn't busy today, and I thought I'd come out and look at things from a different perspective. But it was the most fun I've ever had on a set because I just walked around and listened to everybody's stories, and they were like,
I thought it was a great learning lesson, especially when I was doing stand-in. I think one of my main last gigs was I was standing for Eric Dana on Last Ship. And literally, I got a front row seat of watching the best gaffers, best directors, best DPs in the entire industry, and got paid to just stand there and watch them do their thing, man.
It's funny, when I did the Liam Neeson, Sandra Bullock film, Gun Shy, I went 2 days early from when I was shooting, and Eric Blakeney, the director, is like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Well, Liam Neeson's working today, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, but you're not in the," and I'm like, "Well, I just wanted to watch. Is that okay?" And he laughed, and I'm like, "Why are you laughing at when you get a chance to watch somebody
That's skilled and talented, yeah.
so subtly skilled like that?" I'm like, I'll sit here all day and just watch. I mean, I can learn so much. And they just laughed. Whatever, just have a seat.
I think that's some of the best ways of learning. And
Sure.
is watching really skilled people do their craft.
Yeah. It was interesting watching Frank Vincent and Oliver Platt, being in a scene with them, asking them, their advice before the scene, and then doing the complete opposite and getting 5 extra lines because of it. And Frank Vincent just looked at me and shook his head, and Oliver Platt.
See, that goes back to you liking to fuck with people again,
man. You know what? He just he told me to do less, and there wasn't anything going on in the scene, so I improvised, and the director loved it, and he shook his head, and Oliver Platt just laughed his ass off. That I didn't take Frank Vincent's advice and do nothing. I had 1 line, and I turned it into 5 because there was a problem in the scene that it wasn't being understood. And I made a suggestion, and the director went, "Yeah, why not?"
See, I tried that once, but they didn't like the idea of me in a sumo thong standing on my hands, man. I'm like, Come on, bro.
Don't ever do that on a Coen Brothers project, though. They do not like. They do not.
Okay, so let's get back on. We are easily. We have a bunch of intelligent people here in this process that we're in right now, and so it's very easy for us to slide into 1,000 tangents, dancing around Babylon. But let's get to focus. Katrina, what is a future project in the next couple of years? We're gonna do this subject, then we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back, and then we can just shoot the shit about everything. What is a project that you want to do in the next 2 years that's in your head, crawling around your head, that you think is going to be amazing?
Well, I think it's kind of current future project, because since I'm doing the production, so it's going to be a long process of pre-production, production, post-production. I have 3 scripts ready now, so that's what I'm working on right now. So these 3 movies, and then planning to write 2 more scripts, which will be a little bit higher budget than the ones that I'm working on right now. And that, it's called, it's for Slovakia, basically. So 2 period movies. And so pretty much I have
that is awesome. Hey, if I can help in any way, because I totally advocate for many things, you as a spirit going after your things, you as a person that is obviously a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
That is, but what I get from you is that the beautiful woman part is over here, and you're focused on, but I'm also creative, intelligent, and those are my focuses. And so to me, that is absolutely beautiful, and I would love to support it and advocate that. And the gentleman, Del Weston, that I referenced to you with the festivals, is now watching because he just commented. So Del, Katrina here is a brilliant, talented writer-director that has a film that's almost ready to go to festivals. So I told her to get a hold of you. So Del, help her out with some festivals, and then help her out with her aspirations, as I know you will. But anyway, because he was just commenting on liking your our little thing that's going on here. But that's awesome. And so let's go over real quick. What are the 3? Let's go over name, genre, thematic for each of these 3 scripts.
So Realm, that's action horror.
And what's the log line for it?
Log line. The soldiers after the mission. Okay, I have to read it. Can't remember.
Or just give me the general theme.
Okay, so basically it's a team of soldiers after a failed mission fly into the storm and crash on a remote island, and their trek through the jungle turns into a survival, but they kind of find out who they really are. So I'm really exploring the guilt, and in a form of horror and action.
I'm getting a distinct impression that you like horror.
I do like horror, but not. I'm a huge horror fan, so myself, and so I saw like
one script that's horror, but I tend to be more fantasy and sci-fi. But yeah.
This one is more. This one is a little bit more. No, not too much sci-fi, but like a psychological, like
psychological horror.
Yeah. I mean, like kind of, it's a mix between Predator and Silent Hill, basically. And I love horror genre. I saw probably.
Well, if you get a budget on this, Frankie loves Thailand, so feel free to.
Frankie hates doing horrors. Whores doing horrors. But if the budget's right, Frankie's a whore. Horror.
Okay, so let's go to, because I want to go to a break and I want to still hit Frankie up. So let's go to the second one. What is the second?
Yeah, so it's a Hostel Paradise, and that's a psychological thriller, horror in disguise, I would say. It's not horror, like there's no ghosts or anything.
Okay, and so what's the theme?
Yeah, so as you can, as the title says, hostel happening in paradise, but I made it into a form of a
Wait, is this the one you referenced that was like Hostel?
yeah, it's a yeah, so kind of
So there's a bunch of gory torture.
yes, but this one is a human experiment, like so
Like Centipede?
yeah, so it's kind of like you're exploring what people would do, kind of thing. So it's more deep. It's not like a slasher or zombie movie, but yeah, that's why it's a psychological thriller.
Okay, and let's do the third one real quick, and I got to go to Frankie, and then we got to take a 5-minute break.
And the third one is actually Black Summer, and that's like
what is it called?
Black Summer.
Blake?
And that's Black.
Blank, like a BLANK? Blank?
No,
Like a black. Like black.
Black Summer. Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, your accent was throwing me off. I was like, oh, what is she like doing a William Blake Summer or what?
Yeah. And that's a pandemic movie. So I like to write movies for at the moment for the exotic countries, and it's a pandemic movie. Yeah, so
it's a what punk movie?
Pandemic.
Pandemic. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, God. It's so funny. One of my favorite actresses, and she was the star in my first film, Vicky Dolly. She's Greek, and she always gets mad at me because I always have to have her repeat everything because she has a really thick Greek accent, and especially I don't usually have any issues when we're in front of each other, but on the phone I'm like, dude, I did not understand anything you just said to me. Can you say that all again? So sometimes the accent, I love your accent, but sometimes it's I'm missing some words there. The accent is beautiful. I love actors with accents. It's fine, but anyway, okay, amazing. We'll touch up on that again, all your 3 films towards the end. But Frankie, what do you want to do in the next 2 years that you're excited and amped about and stoked about and passionate about?
I'm excited about getting out of my damn house.
That would be good.
I have a couple of films coming out next month. One of them I can't talk about other than it's a role that I don't normally get. It's an actual human being who has a heart. It so happens the director knows me as a human being and understands the depth of who I am as a person as opposed to the normal roles that I play. Now, the Black Summer, for me, is a very interesting. I've always liked pandemic type films because they're strongly character driven. They have to be. So I love that idea. Give me a call. I also have a script I've been writing for the last 10 years because I'm lazy. And it's called Those Who Abuse. It's the truth of the ballroom dance business. And for me, it's kind of dynasty. It has everything. It has.
So it's a fictional documentary, or?
No, this is a biography of what I experienced for 12 years in the dance business.
I know some of that because you've touched upon it over. We've been on each other's Facebook for years now. Right. So I check on usually most of your posts. You know what I mean? So you touched on it here and there.
Really didn't think anybody listened.
I just don't usually comment a lot, but usually the way their algorithm works is you're one of the people I will look at posts most. So your post gets shoved on top a lot. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, bro, because I'm all over the map.
I just think it's funny when you're literally, I can see that you're totally not meaning what you say and you're totally screwing with people's heads. Yeah. Especially your little political stuff you throw up there. Because otherwise people would be like, if he was real on all this, he's like the most bipolar voter ever, dude. He's literally like advocating Republicans, then the next day advocating Democrats. And
yeah.
That's independent right there.
I do enjoy stirring the pot.
Yes.
For me, it just all creates dialogue and conversation, and that's what we're missing.
Well, but it also, in today's climate, it invites a lot of pissed off people as well. But yeah.
Well, if you can't control your emotions and your thoughts, well, then you're probably just going to get bitch slapped.
I'm the opposite, bro. You will almost never find a political post on my Facebook. Very rarely. Very, very rarely. I stick to talking about film or writing or.
You know what always amazes me is Washington doesn't read our posts. They don't really care about our opinions. We're just doing this to each other on our Facebook pages. They don't read our shit. They don't.
They do, and for how much people get angry and stuff like that, I'm like, what is this doing? You know, the only thing I get mad about is I get
free press for them. More angry they get, the more shares and likes.
Well, the part I have a problem with is when they get cruel and saying horrific things like about people's looks, about people's, and I'm like, dude, I don't care if you want to debate about people's policies and you don't like someone based on their policies, and you want to say how you don't like the policies, whether you're conservative, liberal, I don't care. But I start deleting people when I see memes of a certain politician and these people are just knocking this person's physicality down. You know what I mean? Like going, oh, look at this ugly bitch, or look at this ugly fat dude, and it starts getting into that realm of derogatory crap.
Pettiness.
I don't want to hear all that, man. I don't want to see it on my Facebook. I don't want to. I try to stay positive as much as possible in life, and it's very difficult in this current state. But I don't want to listen to a bunch of vitriol, cruelty, or hatred. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny. Last year, I was in an argument with a director. I won't name him because he's well known, and I just basically told him, "Hey, look, you're a little bitch. You should really get some fucking education and get out of the office." And about 6 months later, I walked into his office on a co-starring role, which is coming out next year. And I looked at him and I went, "Are you going to be a little bitch today?" And he just laughed. And we did the thing. And he ended up hiring me. We had a great time working together. I asked him, "Why did you hire me?" And he said, "Because you're a real motherfucker. You didn't do that thing. You told me what you thought of me. And I know that's not what you thought of me. That's what you thought of my behavior at the time. And I appreciate realness in people." And, you know, for me, I do a show every night at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live. It's called Sundown. And we cover all kinds of subjects from politics to everything and anything. But it's more from a human point of view. It's more from how do we deal with these things that we're going through as individuals. Okay,
you know what, though? I want to save this because I want to continue this conversation in the break because it goes more into just life and stuff like that. Because, and I'll give you another subject that I want to hit on during this last segment, and that's cancel culture.
I did a whole show about it.
Yeah, because I'm getting so up to here over it. It's like, how about we just help people grow and learn instead of canceling them or getting them fired or getting them. So we'll hit into that. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Do not disconnect you guys from the show. He'll put up our little Stormcrow logo and stuff like that, but don't disconnect. And then we'll come back in 5. Okay. Go get a drink, go to the restroom, go play with your dogs, do whatever you need to do.
Bong hits for.
What now?
Bong hits all around.
Yeah, I don't do that much anymore.
How do you order one of those?
I did do it from the age of 14 to about 30 something, but yeah.
I'll talk about it, but I won't do it.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, we'll be back in 5 minutes, you guys. You've been watching Stormcrow, Dreamers talking to dreamers. As always, keep dreaming. We'll see you in 5. Say, Lola, see you in 5. See you in 5.
It was like a dream.
Yeah.
See you in 5.
5. He wants 5.
Yeah, that's already.
I know. It's early.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean you're gonna go like a month there.
No.
Did you mute that? And or you shaking your head and like looking down. I could believe you said that. Hello. You ignored my question.
What?
I said, why do you keep like looking down and shaking your head like he said something? You're like, I can't believe it.
What?
I said you keep looking down and shaking your head like I can't believe you said that.
I don't know.
I asked you questions earlier and you were like why you said something. Like before I started. I said, oh, like when you asked him like why he asked you questions earlier and you framed and you started busting up laughing. What did he say?
I don't remember.
And then you kept telling him like, "What? That's brilliant. That's brilliant." This is what happened when you don't answer me when I ask.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you a picture. You're gonna be like mind blown. Look the picture I sent you.
Hold on.
You only started like 15 minutes late, and he's taking a break at 10:25.
Yeah,
Your
she's a
dog,
little witch.
Hey, Mark, you're not even sweaty. I told him you always do this during the break. You go off and do your lightsaber
I'm good like
acrobatic
that.
moves.
I'm so good like that. I don't.
Your audio's not on. Your mic's not on.
Yeah.
this is Princess Leia. This is Luke Skywalker.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so cool. That's really cool.
Leia's very special. On command, in 3 films, she will hump my leg on command, and we've had her.
Really?
She's a whore.
Wow.
This is Mandalorian.
Wow. See you guys.
I would love to get another dog for Lola because Lola is very social, but I just can't. I live in an apartment and I have to walk them every time they got to go. Most of my life, I've always had a house because I've always had a dog, and so I've always had a yard. But when I moved here, this is what I didn't want roommates anymore. I'm like, I cannot do roommates anymore. So I got my own place, and my own place ended up being an apartment. And so I cannot try to walk 2 dogs five times a day. It would be.
I don't think it would be much difference because you go out anyway, right? So it's really second dog is really for the first dog.
Different areas. That would be and leashes tangling and stuff like that.
They would go everywhere together. I think, you know, they also do everything together.
I don't need much convincing to get another dog because I love dogs.
Oh yeah.
Stop.
Go for it. Because it's
I
like
will
keeping
eventually. But
company to
I'm
me.
about to I'm very happy and very blessed. I just signed with a manager for the first time in my life, Tammy Smith, and she owns a production company, and they just signed me to a 5-picture deal. But they want me to shoot those starting in about 4 or 5 months.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. They want me to shoot those back to back to back to back, and most likely they're going to be in different states. So I don't know. I'm obviously will take Lola with me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And she's big on, and I agree with her. She's big on Airbnbs or whatever instead of hotels. When you're, you know, as a director, bringing a director into another state, she usually, and I agree with her, it's usually less expensive and it's nicer. Just renting out Airbnbs. But I think for the next few years, once we start, I'm going to be like living everywhere except my place. So I can imagine 2 dogs might be a little bit difficult to try to roll that with.
Yeah,
but,
for sure. The travel and all. Yeah.
yeah, but I get sad sometimes because I know she would really love having a little buddy. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm going to talk about one thing and then really quickly, and then we're going to go back to what we were talking about. First of all, a guy named Luke, who's been on my Facebook about 3 years or around there, just commented, "Oh, is Glasscock really your last name?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said yes, and he's like, "Oh my God, I didn't know." And I'm like, "Okay, so you've been on my page for 3 years, and you thought this entire time that Glasscock was some fake name, and that if I was the type of person to choose a fake name, that Glasscock would be the name I chose." And that's just mind-boggling to me that someone who's been on my Facebook for 3 years and has interacted with me numerous times during that time, that the entire time he thought that wasn't my real last name. But okay, because that just happened during break. He commented and said that. I'm like, really, dude? Okay, man, you're mind-boggling me right now. But anyway, okay, so let's get back to what we were continue with what you were talking about, Frankie, before we went on the break.
Reminder. We were talking.
We were talking about we were going to talk about cancel culture, but I wanted to, because what you were saying had something to do with cancel culture.
We were talking about the truth of the ballroom dance business, which is a very psychological film. It's a mindfuck film, and then we're doing a music video from a song that I wrote called "Box Full of Dicks." It's a long story. So hopefully when COVID breaks, we'll be able to shoot that. And yeah,
I don't know if you want to shoot films right now. It's got to get to a point where we just go, we cannot wait for COVID to break, because I don't see that happening anytime in the near future. And you need to shoot films. So you got to just got to learn how to work around it, and masks and social distancing and making people take tests, and isolating. Like when we shoot my first film, she's talking about, luckily we're going to be shooting near her studio in Florida. And she said right next to that studio or near it is an entire complex of like all Airbnb apartments. And so she's talking about just renting out the whole thing and isolating all our people there. So I think that's kind of where we need to get to, because you know how many people in this industry are like going to start losing houses and stuff like that, because everyone's going, we're waiting for COVID to start. It's like people need to work, man.
Sure.
And with me, from a fan standpoint, if I don't start seeing some new films out soon, I've watched about almost every old film that I can watch, man. You know what I mean? Like that I've seen already before, and I'm going nuts with no new films and stuff coming in.
I just wish I would have shot a commercial right before COVID hit, because it would have stayed and ran and ran and ran. Normally they get 13 weeks now and they yank them. But man, there's been some commercials.
Yeah, I just think as an industry, we just need to start figuring out how to just shoot. You know what I mean? And be as safe as possible, and you know, and have people take their little tests and wear masks and sanitize everything and isolate or whatever we need to do. But we need to just start creating it. Now, what I'm not happy with is, in my opinion, the plans I'm seeing come out of SAG and stuff like that are some of the most ridiculous ideas I've ever heard. Like no romance and no actual stunt fighting, and I'm like, dude, seriously. And then some of their other ideas seem like only suited for huge budgeted films would be able to pull them off. You know what I mean? Like,
well, maybe it's a good time for the character driven stuff that doesn't require a lot of action and stunts and that kind of thing.
I don't know. I'm going to shoot the films I shoot, man. I'm not gonna, you know, whatever. I'm not going to. To me, it almost is coming across as a studio-backed plan. This might be a little too conspiracy, but a studio-backed plan to try to knock out a lot of these smaller budgeted type companies from being able to, if they want to apply union rules, to be able to actually shoot. You know what I mean? That only big studios are going to be able to like actually follow all these rules. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, man, but we need to figure it out and just start shooting. But anyway, let's get to cancel culture, you guys. I am so tired. You can not like someone. You can disagree with what they're saying, but enough with getting people fired and getting people like here's a perfect example. I read an article yesterday. Some theater in some local area was going to play Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
So a bunch of freaking people got together saying how it like basically canceled, like wouldn't leave them alone. So they got rid of that film because they're saying it supports police presence in schools. It supports criminalization of like racist and all this other crap. And to the point where the theater, and I was disappointed in the theater that the theater actually caved in and got rid of that film. I'm like, it's a film. If you don't like it, don't go and watch it. But to actually like bring on Kindergarten Cop from the 80s, like all this racist crap into it, and to the point where this theater that's probably barely surviving had to cave in to your crap. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Anyway, your opinions on cancel culture.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm even afraid to have an opinion in this era because someone might disagree with it, and
yes, I don't care.
Canceled. You know, like I'm literally just staying quiet, and I'm not making.
I just think it's so because most people act like there's some perfect beings walking around. Like, let me scour their entire internet history and see how perfect they are. Literally. Little internet warriors that are like bashing people, getting them fired, and all that kind of stuff. Man,
I guess people think that they can, like, it's like being on internet gives you certain anonymity, or, you know, if I am pronouncing it right. And then people feel that they can say things that they would normally not say to someone's face. So they feel more freedom, and then basically all goes on internet, even though maybe they would never say that in person to the person. So I think there's
going after even people evil. I hate. I would never go after their livelihood, man, because even
but they don't think like that.
I don't even hate people. There's no hatred. It's too strong a word. Going after their livelihood, even if I don't like that person, they probably have kids. They probably have a wife. They probably have things they need to take care of.
Yeah.
So
that's why they don't see it, and that's why they feel they can say it, like, or write it, post it, because
but these are real people, and you're affecting their lives, man. Like you're. I just don't. It just comes across as like really inhumane, I guess would be a way of saying it, man.
Yeah, that's the internet.
Everybody should do like I do. I had a guy run up on me like that and called the director that I was getting ready to work with. So I just flew to Arizona and beat his fucking ass.
Yeah, I guess that would be a solution.
For me, with the internet, the reason people run their mouths the way they do is because they don't see any kind of outcome for their behavior. When you walk and you punch them in the face, then they realize that stuff is not tolerable. Yeah, you got to go to jail, but you know what? They stop that shit. And the problem with the internet is people are behind their little screens and they don't realize.
I think Mike Tyson just said something like that. There was a meme going around of Mike Tyson saying the exact same thing. The internet has created a bunch of people willing to say stuff and not get knocked out for it.
Internet wars.
Yeah, and but the way it's affecting, and I'm getting upset with these companies actually caving into this crap, man. Like I'm literally like, because then it just makes it worse. Then all these people say, "Oh, look, if we do it, these companies do what we want them to do."
Yeah, they will keep doing
it worse, and that makes them want to do it more. Like, I'm just like, like I think what was it? Kevin Hart got supposed to host something. And he did a comedy skit from like 15 years ago of in the comedy skit he was saying about my kid better not be gay or something like that. And it was from like the freaking early 90s. And literally he lost the job. They got rid of him because of this giant uproar of people that said you cannot have him host the Oscars or whatever it was. 15 years ago, he made a joke about gay people. I'm like, are you like, seriously, man? Get thicker skin. You don't have to like him. Don't go after his job. Don't get thicker skin. You're not going to like everybody in the world. But even if I don't like you, I'm not going to try to make you lose your job.
That's you, JD. I mean, there are people.
Because it's just not right. It's
understand.
not a right thing to do. It's not a moral thing to do. It's not any of those things to do. It's this cancel culture. It's like getting rid of free speech. It's getting rid of creativity. I mean, they're trying to now stop certain films from being made. Like if you didn't have an Eddie Murphy or a George Carlin or a Richard Pryor that literally bashed everything and anything, a lot of times racially, you wouldn't. They were big reasons that you had actual progression in race relations because they made it comfortable for white people to talk because they were making all these jokes about it. They made it comfortable for white people to talk about it, for black people to talk about it, for everybody to talk about it and actually have a conversation about it. And if they didn't do that, you wouldn't have those conversations, and it opened up a lot of those conversations. So you're hurting what you're supposedly standing for when you start trying to cancel people's free speech.
Yeah, but also the history and the civilization, our civilization literally has its natural development and flow, and we should not be canceling each other for what we felt was right at the time of 20 years ago or
yeah, and I agree with you. And
thinking like, oh, did I say something wrong then? I mean, of course we do. I mean, even though it might not be right, but people change. People, we all change.
People evolve.
Evolve, yeah.
Are getting mad that someone's like from the 50s and they made off-color jokes. That was the time period, man. I don't know anybody. My grandfather made jokes I didn't particularly like listening to. But that was part of the culture he was raised in, man. I mean, so it's like I don't know, man. The whole cancel culture thing, it's disgusting to me, man. There are plenty of people I disagree with, but I would not try to go ruin their entire lives.
People want to be vilified.
No, and then people should be able to make a film about what they want to make a film about, man. If you don't like it, don't go watch it.
Whatever.
And then they won't get backing the next time. If there's enough people that didn't go like it and didn't go watch it and it made no money, then they wouldn't probably be able to make another film. But just trying to stop people from watching the films they like because you don't agree with that film, that's ridiculous, man. And that's one step away from authoritarianism and fascism.
What bothers me is whatever happened to when an accusation was made that someone was allowed to defend themselves, and then when they were found guilty of that accusation, then there was an outcome. Now it feels like if an accusation is made, someone's job is lost, or a film or a project is pulled based on the accusation. And whatever happened to due fucking process? You know, whatever happened.
I agree with you. You're talking about the Me Too movement that kind of went off the rails?
I'm talking about all of it. All of it. Now is something, like you said, is brought up from 30 years ago. That shit should be ignored. It only happens because people are buying into it, and it's complete lunacy. If you make an accusation, allow someone to defend themselves. If they're found guilty, then fire them. You know,
I agree with you 100%, man.
We have performance clauses in our contracts and certain social clauses that we can't do stupid shit. And it just gets to a point where you can't say anything because someone's going to dislike it. And now it's to the point where they don't really do that shit to me because I'll say what's ever on my mind.
No, and I'm the same way. You know me, man. I say what I want to say. I don't really care. But then again, I've been a loner since I was a little kid, dude. So I've never really cared about other people's opinions of me. You know what I mean? But I just think it's ridiculous that, and I think the worst part is that these companies are actually caving into it. These companies are propagating it by caving into it. You know what I mean? And that's some accountant, again, what we talked about in the very beginning, that's some accountant at the top saying, oh, well, we don't want to lose this demographic of 20 to 40 LGBT group or whatever it is, or right-wing Christians or whatever the hell the demographic is. And so let's just fire those people or cancel the project or whatever it is, man. And I just think it's wrong on so many levels. It's hard to expound upon because it's wrong on so many different ways.
But we're all in this together, right?
I don't know, but how about why don't we just teach people instead of canceling them, let's help them learn and grow. You know what I mean? If someone has an offhanded comment that was not really wrong, right? How about someone goes and has a conversation with them about why it wasn't right and hopefully grow from it, as opposed to, oh, that guy made an offhanded comment. Let me gather 1 million signatures on a internet proposal to get him fired. You know, I just don't. How about we're in this together, like he just said? We are in this together. Let us help each other grow and learn and become better humans, instead of trying to cancel each other and cut each other's legs out from under each other.
Because then that would be too easy.
Yeah, I just don't. It's counterproductive to what you say your goals are.
Let me ask you something, JD. Do you really think that the majority of human beings out there in the internet world really care about growing or becoming understanding of the point of view? They're not.
No, because I think there's a lot of miserable, unhappy people there, and the old adage, misery loves company, is so instead of fixing their own lives or whatever, they instead look for things to hate out in the world and to bring their misery upon. But that's unfortunate and sad for them. It just used to be you could just turn them off, instead of all of a sudden now you're giving those unhappy people now the ability to ruin people's lives that 10 years ago would not have happened. I think that's the sad part, because even if I dislike you, I am not going to go after your income that takes care of your kids, your grandparents, your whatever it is, man. I mean, you would have to do something very egregious for me to want to see that, and way more than making a offhanded bad comment on a tweet.
Give people power, they'll probably use it.
Yeah,
That is true.
Just think that. Oh, you know, this relates back to, and it's an easier conversation. This relates back to what you were saying when that guy told you to come up with something. You know how many times I've been on set where the AD, it was like usually smaller Hallmark production or something like that, and the AD wasn't super experienced with the second or whatever, and they tell like 40 background. It's a wide shot. Oh, and then as soon as they say action, you have 20 background all going towards camera.
Never ask an artist what they think.
Yeah. And then the first AD's like, why am I having 20 background all walking towards camera?
So,
oh, Lordy, man. But anyway, so let's start. Let's get off the cancel culture. I hadn't done that in the show, and it's been becoming so prevalent. I wanted to get that out there. You guys, those people out there that are looking for stuff to hate, how about instead you take some deep breaths and you work on the things that are making you really unhappy in your own life? How about you start there in the old biblical passage of pull the timber out of your own eye before you start worrying about the speck in someone else's eye. Is a good adage to know. Like, so know that none of us are perfect. So trying to hold people to some perfect model of behavior is kind of ridiculous when none of us are. All of us fuck up, all of us fall, all of us fail, all of us do all of those things. So how about we have a little self-awareness, self-truth, and don't expect more out of other people than we expect out of ourselves. That would be a good thing. But anyway, let's go more towards Katrina Gray. Is an amazing, intelligent, beautiful writer, director, actor who has some amazing stuff coming down the pipe. She has very cute dogs. Mm-hmm. And if you want to either help her in her endeavors or dreams of shooting film, then please hit her up and explain to her how you want to help support her in those aspirations. Or if you have a film and you need a kick-ass actress, then there you go as well. Frankie Ray, I've known a long time. Frankie Ray is an enigma amongst himself. He is yes, and he is certainly not PG. He is very rated R. So which is fine. Hey, I only write and shoot rated R, so I get it, man. But if you want to, if you need an amazing character actor or dancer or just a unique, intelligent being as a part of your projects, or you want to help him in his endeavors, feel free to hit him up or ask me, and I will make that introduction. And then of course, Mark Potter, and then of course he had also very, very cute dogs. I am a dog person. I love dogs. So we had an episode of Dogs, and you can rewind it. This will be on YouTube in a few days. You can rewind it and watch the dog moments. They're great. But anyway, and then you have Mark Potter, who is a acrobatic lightsaber savant who is now floating above a planet behind him. And he's been the tech advisor during this and keeps this show going. One of these days, he has promised that he will not only show you his acrobatic lightsaber techniques, but he will do so while wearing a yellow summer dress. So it will be amazing to watch. It will be insane to watch. But you guys, thank you so much. It's been such an interesting conversation with everyone that we've gone almost
24 minutes.
Up on 2 hours. But anyway, but very beautiful, very blessed.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And we'll have you again sometime. I only do this once a month now, so it's hard because I have like I guess it's a good thing. I have a ton of artists that are friends of mine that all want to be on the show. So, so it's a compliment. I wish I could do it more than once a month. But as you all know, trying to do your own art and work and all those things, and but I have committed to myself that we are going to keep this talk show going no matter what I'm doing. So if I'm directing on a set, I'll tell them, hey, first Thursday of every month, dude, I need to be offset by this amount of time because I got a talk show to do. But anyway, But very beautiful blessings. Thank you to my amazing guests, Katrina and Frankie, and their dogs. And thank you to Mark, as always. And then my name is JD Glasscock. Been watching Stormcrow, Dreamers, talking to dreamers. As always, dream. Lola, say, get on out of here, folks.
Bye.
Get on out of here, folks.
Her name was Lola. She wore a diamond. Oh no, that was Nico.
Oh, you didn't need to stop, man. I was going, dude.
That was
All right, man. Blessings, you guys. Beautiful thoughts to all that you do. If I can ever help
Bye. Thank you. Nice talking to you and meeting you.
Everybody join me 7 p.m. live on Facebook every night. If you'd like to have conversation that's right in the groove, not left or right, and we cuss. So
Yeah.
join at 7 p.m. every night live.
There you go.
Sundown.
Love you all. See you.
Love. Thanks. Everybody have a blessed day. Bye, Lola. Bye, doggy.
Bye.
Because you are so beautiful to me.
Have a good night.
Can't you see? Bye-bye, buddy. Thank you.